big fireball. More fire. More fire.
Yes, guys, what's happening? This is episode 28 of the United Forever podcasts. This is called Fred Card. I'm Sam Spanner, and I'm with my legendary cousin. What's your name, mate?
Cousin Adam. How are you?
Adam Shagham. How's it going? Oh, jinx.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, good
Oh,
lad.
dear.
Oh, fucking hell. No, we're not going to be depressed, all right? I refuse to be depressed after the 3-1 loss, all right? A few unlucky circumstances. We'll talk about that later. But I don't know if you've had any funny shit go on the past few days since we spoke last.
Nothing major, just the typical. At the moment, obviously, the weather's pretty shitty over here. So all our vans are like really dirty. So we've taken it upon ourselves to do a bit of van art and draw. So there's been lots of cock and balls being drawn on vans at the moment, which is and unbeknown to me, one of the guys at the depot at the bottom of my driver's side, along the dirt line, wrote in massive letters, "I love cock." So I was driving around delivering parcels yesterday with the slogan, "I love cock" on my van, and I was like, "Oh, great, cheers, thanks." So I got my own back on him today by drawing a massive veiny penis on the back of his van, and to top it off, it had a little bit of spunk coming out the top, so that's all good.
Oh, mate, touche, mon frere. Fucking hell, mate. That reminds me of what's that French food? You know, fucking hell, coq au vin. So you were driving your coq au vin, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
I was like, oh, great. Yeah, so it was fun.
So, mate, over in this part of the world, right? So we live in a seismic area. From time to time, we do get an earthquake. And fuck me, last night we were like literally 15-minute drive from where the epicenter was. It wasn't a huge one. It was below 4 on the Richter scale, which ain't bad. But bloody hell, it's enough for the whole bloody building to like vibrate and stuff, and stuff on the bedside table to wobble here, there, and everywhere. Yeah, mate. But mate, that wasn't too bad. All right, I'm gonna tell you, right. I remember over here, right. This must have been fucking hell. I've been here for donkey's years. Must have been about fucking 12 years ago, right?
Right.
So I was just having a little sup on some beer, right? Just got to lubricate the mouth. So basically, I was gonna have a triple S. Now, if we got any listeners that aren't familiar with the vernacular, basically a triple S is you're gonna have a shit, a shave, and a shower. So it was like fucking boiling hot summer, 40-degree heat. I was in this apartment block, and I'd like stripped down naked in the bathroom. And I thought, right, I'm gonna have my triple S now. So I sat down on the throne. Fuck me, mate. I'd never experienced an earthquake before in my life. The whole fucking building was shaking like anything. And the bathroom like looked onto this like communal patio. Obviously I had frosted glass in the window, but I hadn't shut the window properly. And the window swung right open on its hinges. And you got the old woman on the other side of the patio looking through at me, fucking stark naked, sat there on the toilet. Best place to be, actually. I was shitting myself with fear. And not only that, mate, like, I I had this pet fish in a fish bowl, as you do.
Yeah.
And it was like in this little bowl, and the water was fucking like, it was like the bloody bog, down by the woods
Yeah.
in Row Hedge. This like stagnant lake. The poor fish, it was like borderline animal cruelty. And I brought it to the bathroom because I honestly intended after the triple S to change the water of the fish bowl.
Yeah.
And I thought, fuck me. So I didn't know what the fuck was happening. The window swung open. I've got this old lady looking at me, stark naked, having a shit. The fish literally like just about to fall out the bowl. Green water going everywhere on the bathroom floor. My natural reaction was panic, like fuck. I opened the bathroom door and I ran running down the corridor towards my old flatmates, the students. I was like, what the fuck is this? And they were just laughing at me, like as if it was completely normal. What are you doing, you fucking dickhead?
Yeah.
And I was like, what do we do? I was like, do we have to like stand under some kind of door frame or something so we don't get the building collapsing on our heads? So I just made myself look like a complete twat with shit down my leg. I was naked. Oh dear, oh dear. And like green fish spunk on my foot. So yeah, that was the good old earthquake.
Brilliant.
Oh dear, oh dear. So yeah, I've learned my lesson.
Mate.
Obviously the buildings in this part of the world are made with reinforced concrete and all that kind of stuff, so we're relatively safe. So anyway,
yeah.
fucking. Oh, now before we talk about the Fred card, can I ask you this question? How many Freds have you come across in person? Have a good think, mate.
In person or like, for example, Fred the footballer?
No. I'm talking about in person, sort of like close up.
Two Freds.
Two.
No,
Me
three.
too, mate.
Three, sorry.
All right, so
three
okay.
Freds, yeah.
Three threads. Three threads of pubic hair. Sorry, mate. Tourette's. All right, sorry, mate. Fucking up. Tell me then, who are these Freds that you know of?
Well, the first one would be Grandad's brother, Freddie.
Yeah, Uncle Freddie, legend.
Second one would be my other Uncle Fred, from my other nan's brother.
From who's that? Nanny Annie?
Yeah. The
Nanny Annie. Sorry, I've got to say this, mate. It's coming out. That rhyme that we used to say when we were kids. Nanny Annie, fishy fanny, condom 54. Sorry, that made no fucking sense. But that just sums up us as kids, mate.
Exactly.
Right, so that's the second Fred.
Yeah, and the third one would be Grandad's next door neighbour. Old next door neighbour.
Yeah, the one who. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
It was all right. It was a wanker, that neighbour. But anyway, the first Fred. All right, I've just got to say, Uncle Freddie was an absolute fucking legend, mate. I mean, tell us about the vehicle that he fucking drove, mate.
What, the three-wheeler?
Yeah.
The three-wheeler.
Who on earth would get away with driving a three-wheeler?
Oh, well, I don't know, but he had the three-wheeler, and then I don't know how he did it, but he got caught on a speeding camera and told just the speeding in a three-wheeler. And he swore blind that it wasn't him, even though they had photographic evidence. He's like, that's not me.
I mean, the only other person who drove a three-wheeler was fucking Del Boy, the only fools and horses.
Yeah. And then he sold the three wheeler and
But
ended
he
up
lost
getting
his
a
license,
bloody.
didn't he?
Yeah, he lost his license because of that, and then he ended up
He
getting
got.
a Vespa moped.
Oh, mate, that was absolutely brilliant. But, mate, I mean, if Granddad's a lad, Uncle Freddie was a lad and a half.
Yeah,
He
no, this
was
is it.
like one of the cheekiest blokes you'd ever meet. I mean, Granddad's like full of
Yeah.
cheek. You know, he'll see a random woman pushing a pram with twins in the supermarket, and he'll go up and be like, "What's this? Buy one get one free today." So he doesn't care who he talks to. But mate, Uncle Freddie, I remember Granddad saying once the two of them went into Marks and Spencers, and
Yeah,
Granddad said, "Mate, it's about time that you bought yourself a new pair of shoes." So they went up to the shoe
yeah.
department, and what Freddie did is he put on the new shoes, and he said, "Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the old shoes in a shoebox, and then we're going to quietly walk out." And I swear, Granddad went ape at him. He says, "Don't you
Yeah.
fucking dare." Because he said he was always getting in trouble with. He was always getting in trouble with the authorities. I mean, even
Oh
back
yeah,
in the
all the
army
time,
days,
mate.
mate. You know what?
Yeah.
Fucking, he
The,
didn't
right,
care who he was talking to.
before you elaborate
Yeah,
further, uh, the, the whenever we mention we mention his name, the thing that comes screaming to the forefront of my mind would be the time that I must have been about 8 or 9, and
yeah,
it was the school holidays, and my mum was taking me and my sister down to the swimming pool in Colchester, and we got the bus into town. We were walking through the castle
yeah.
park, and we saw, you could guarantee if you ever went to the castle park, Freddie'd be in there having a walk around, whatever, because he like lived around the corner, and he was like in the flower beds,
Yeah.
like pulling out the flowers out the ground. And my mum's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I
What the
pay
fuck?
council tax and pay it." He's using it as a fucking garden centre.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That is absolutely fucking classic. Mate,
He's
he
like, "I
was
pay
always
council
picking a
tax."
fight with the council, wasn't he?
Yeah, about and like literally, when I got a part time job at the paper shop in town, after my shift,
Yeah,
normally finished about like midday, 1 o'clock. You could
yeah.
guarantee, like I'd be walking up the Colchester Town High Street to get the bus, and you could guarantee he'd be sitting on a wall somewhere chatting to some homeless person. He would always chat to the homeless.
Oh,
It's
no.
crazy.
I mean that is. I mean, he was odd, but I mean, in a weird way, it's kind of nice, keeping the other
Yeah,
odd folk or the whatever,
yeah,
giving them a bit of company, if you know what I mean. But another thing,
yes,
mate, is like he was always getting in trouble in the army. Like he was
yeah,
stationed over in Egypt or something as an army chef or something, and I don't know if he was
right,
getting into quarrels with over doing the washing up and stuff now and again, but he didn't give a shit. And another
right,
time was over at Wivenhoe Park, where the lakes were, obviously where uni is, right?
yeah, yeah,
He would always sort of hide in a bush, and obviously not allowed to do any poaching, and he
yeah,
got caught by the groundskeeper there, and he's like, "Oi, mate, I'm going to report you to the police." And he's like, "Oh no, please don't." He used the got a sympathy vote sort of thing, saying, "No, come on, because I'm going to be stationed out in wherever. I don't know if it was it
yeah,
was
right,
somewhere in North Africa again or something." So he managed to get
yeah.
out of trouble. And then, do you reckon that stopped him going back and fishing there again? Did it fuck? Oh, mate.
Oh, brilliant.
But I mean, in footy terms, mate, apparently, like, obviously, a lot of these kids, Grandad and all the others, were like quite poor, you know.
Yeah.
And he said that when they were playing football, there would be about 30 kids a side or something. All the kids down the high chasing a bag like stuffed full of old newspapers and stuff. But apparently, he did say that Freddie had a proper solid left foot on him. Like he was
Right.
absolutely brilliant, you know, at long shots. He says if you ever got
Yeah.
shot in the face by one of Freddie's shots, you know, it fucking sting like anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, good old shout out to Uncle Freddie. Now
Yeah.
we mentioned the other prick. Well, not the other prick. I mean,
Yeah.
Uncle Freddie wasn't a prick, but we're going to say that prick.
Yeah.
The other Fred, who was the next door neighbour of Grandad.
Yeah.
Mate, I remember when we used to play footy and stuff in the garden and the board go over, you'd always expect, like, I don't know, like those weird looks and, I don't know, stupid remarks. And he always had a thing
Yeah.
about Grandad, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, anyway, do you know what? When he sold up and moved out of the village, thank God,
Yeah.
apparently, this is what Grandad said, he went and moved into, wasn't it into his daughter's house or something? They'd like sort of made like a
Oh,
little flat, a granny flat,
right.
right? And then they had Johnson and his wife had, oh, sorry, Fred and his wife, they had access to the house. And apparently his
Right.
daughter's husband was so fucking fed up of the bloke. At 4 a.m, he bricked up the whole of the bloody door. So Fred couldn't get into the house. It was like, what the fuck? So it was permanently stuck in the little granny flat box. So he'd lost the
Oh.
privilege of what he thought was like a decent sort of retirement residence. Serves the bastard right, mate. Dear oh dear.
Bloody hell.
So obviously the other Fred is our Fred, our United player, who's the
Yeah.
one who's got the most tackles this season and covers the most
Yep.
ground. He's a fucking workhorse, and he was called
Yep.
fraud in the Mourinho times by the fan base. And I think
Yep.
he's definitely worth his 50 million. If Pogba's worth 80
Definitely.
plus, this lad's worth definitely 50. So,
Exactly.
yeah, so I don't really want to talk about it just now, but obviously we do sort of the good,
Yeah.
bad, and the ugly format when we do a little bit of an analysis after the match. So we lost 3-1 against PSG. Were there
Yep.
any goods, mate, that you identified from the match? If you want to just make a little mention
Um,
there.
I think the link-up play again between Rashford and Cavani was promising. In the
Yep.
second half, there was a couple of good moves here and there. Cavani again was running all over the place. Very, very unfortunate not to score.
Yeah, I
With
know.
that cheeky
He
little chip.
hit the bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminded me of Lingard
Yeah.
last season. Lingard did something
Yeah.
similar. We absolutely fucking went in for Lingard, but I mean, the fan base has
Yeah.
been more forgiving towards Cavani at the minute.
Yeah. I think
But
you're right. But overall, I don't really want to use the word, but there were parts of the game we dominated PSG, and we still come out the losing side. Do you know what I mean? There was a good. The first 15 minutes wasn't overly brilliant. Obviously we conceded,
no, we showed
but
them
then
too much respect, mate. That
yeah,
was we
and
came out with the wrong attitude.
then after that we kind of were we pressing them more? Would that be the word? I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
and I'll tell you why.
and
It's one
then
of the goods I've got written down is McSauce because he grew in
yeah,
stature as the game progressed, and he was
yeah,
being a right menace on Neymar. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. How he just kept on sort of scooping Neymar from under his feet and everything. And then at half time, when they were going to go through the tunnel, McSauce
Oh
tapped
yeah,
him on his back and he took the piss out of him. So doing a bit of dark arts there. Respect to McSauce.
exactly. This is it, and I think
And
because Neymar just pisses me off. Something chronic, like
yeah, I know what you
you know,
mean.
he just. Last night was a perfect example. He's the sort of player that scores a goal and then goes running around the stadium celebrating when there's no one there to celebrate with. That says it all, really.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what? What I reckon he
Um,
does, right, at night? He puts his head, he gets his head in the sink, puts the plug in the plug hole, and he fills up the sink with toilet duck bleach, and then he sticks his head in the bleach, waits for about 30 seconds, gets out, washes it out, and he goes fucking running up and down the stairs celebrating. Look at my new hairstyle. That's how much of a fucking prick he is, you know?
yeah, I know. Yeah, people. Yeah, all right. You can't deny he's got talent, but and again, I don't want to speak ill of the
It's all the
dead, but
play acting, isn't it?
he's another Maradona. Got so much potential, but is an
Okay.
absolute twat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Mate, Maradona was fucking hilarious when he'd do his lines, mate. There's so many funny videos. When I type in
Yeah,
Maradona, it's like Maradona high, stuff like that, and like dancing to hardcore
yeah,
music in Saudi Arabia. What fuck, mate? So, mate, I mean, it's funny as fuck when you watch those videos. But it's
yeah,
good to see old Rashford top of the charts for goals scored in the Champions League. Pretty happy for
yes,
him. You know, I think he's doing well on the right wing. I mean, as an emergency option, giving us shape. But again, he's a
yeah,
player that's working himself into the ground. He's got. I
yeah,
told you the other day that Howson pointed out that he's done his shoulder in. He's playing with that
yeah.
injury, and he can only just make it worse. So he needs some time off to get himself better. Sadly,
I I think what they're doing is waiting for January, and then we get old matey from
from
uh
Atlanta, you mean Diallo?
that's it. Yeah, that's it, Diallo.
Right. I'm just going to give a shout out right now to FSID on YouTube.
Yeah,
Right, it's a small channel like ours, you know, that's growing in
yep,
stature, and the lad does some fantastic editing. And he uploaded a video of the highlights of Diallo's little cameo appearance the other night against that Danish team. I don't know how to fucking pronounce it. Midtjylland or something like that. It's probably
oh
just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Midland.
yeah, yeah. More
And
than likely, yeah,
people are sort of ranting and raving about it, but I don't think the lad did anything really. I think
yeah,
Chongi's more exciting, but maybe you know he'll do all right. But still think he's on the skinny side. He needs some proper beef on him, you know, 'cause he's young and all that. Mate,
yeah,
speaking about funny Danish names, do you remember that random team in the second division called Middelfart in
yeah,
Denmark?
yes. Excellent.
Oh, mate, that has to be one of our random objectives in life. Me and you go to Denmark, go to
Yeah,
the middle part
get a
match,
photo in middle park
lot
time.
of
Yeah,
methane. Oh, brilliant, mate. So, did I mention a second ago that I thought the Iceman looked pretty good at actually? I know, you know, we conceded 3 goals and stuff, but in the back
yeah,
line, I was pretty happy with him, and I thought he was doing pretty good. And his
yeah,
forward passing was brilliant. He did some lovely sort of direct balls towards the front
yeah.
line. So you know, well done to the bloke.
And
Now,
and again, before we go any further, like with
yeah,
Pogba, he come on and how unlucky was he not to score that volley? That is the
I
Pogba that I
know.
know. Do you know what I mean? And that's so frustrating because he is the sort of player that can do stuff like that. And again, because he's got like last night, the ball coming from the right rather than the left, which is good, and he's more predominantly right-footed. And because we as you said in previous heat maps show, we play predominantly down the left. He doesn't get that opportunity. So
Totally, mate.
I'm the first to admit that I'm not a fan of Pogba, and he is a waste of a space at the moment. He needs to
And
do
he's
a lot
only
to
got a
prove
couple
me
of
wrong.
goals in his past 40 matches. No, I agree with
Exactly.
you, mate, there.
So hopefully, if we can continue playing down the right, we might see Pogba that play for Juventus, if you know what I'm saying. Score and screamers,
Yeah, I know.
but that could just be me hoping. But who knows?
Yeah, we don't know. Well, we've got to wait and see what happens. But, mate, one of the bad things, right, is, when
Yep.
Fred sort of headbutted, but he didn't really headbutt that
Yep.
bloke. In the rule
Yep.
books, naturally, you'd think red card. The red didn't
That
come out and
that
yellow
was
came up. It's like,
yeah.
fucking hell, that's the first. So,
Yeah. Well, that was a red card, right? Whatever way you look at it, this is how messed up the game was last night. That was a red card, but his actual red card, in
yeah.
my eyes, wasn't a red card.
No, I mean, he got a yellow for it, but he got to the ball first.
Yes, he got
But
he
you've
got
got
the
to
ball
ask
first,
yourself,
and it was
mate.
just yeah,
But if that's a red card offence, and then the other
yep,
bloke's rolling around on the floor as if he's been
yep,
punched by Tyson Fury, don't
yep,
you think he should get a yellow card as well for being a crybaby? Because I look at my kids and they fucking beat the shit out of each other. And obviously, my kids are 6 and 3 years old. But my 3-year-old
yep,
daughter, mate, she's got a fucking slap on her. And I
yeah,
think
yeah,
if she'd
yeah,
have slapped that Paris bloke last night, he'd have
yeah,
been in a coma. It'd have been sort of Raul Jimenez all over again.
yeah. I know,
So
yeah,
I think that the theatrical stuff has got to be penalised. And I loved it when
yeah,
McSauce accidentally fucking stood on Neymar, after he'd done a
yeah,
lovely hook and sweeped him full on takeout,
yeah,
mate. That was brilliant. I loved that. And Neymar's like rolling
yeah,
around like a baby, and McSauce is like, "Fuck off, you cunt," you know.
yeah. Basically,
So yeah, the
that's it.
referee's
And I think,
decisions were fucking diabolical.
but the best thing is the referee couldn't find the VAR monitor to begin with, could he? He was running around the pitch trying to find it.
It's like, didn't he say to his watch, "Okay, Google, can you locate the VAR machine, please?" Fucking hell.
But yeah, no, I definitely
Dear, oh dear.
that at the end of the day, Fred was a knobhead, right? And and it's things like what he did last night which get people, slating him because he does knobbish things in the most inappropriate times, right?
Yeah.
Now, as we say, the first incident, yes, red card straight off. You know,
Yep.
there was no, there was, it's not a grey area. That was black and white. That was, he moved his head towards the opposition. End of, right. The second challenge,
Yeah.
which resulted in the second yellow card, wasn't all right. It
Yeah.
might have been a yellow card. Well, actually, I don't know if I'm actually no. I'm saying that wasn't a booking. That was basically he got the ball, and it was just the momentum of his body took out the player.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean,
So
we used to do that
I
all
don't
the
know.
time playing Sunday League.
Oh, yeah,
And
mate,
when I was playing
the
in,
good old
this is how shit I was. I was in the F division. Now, just imagine how shy that was. The fucking pitches were just covered in mud. It was like a mud bath. And
Yeah.
you got the fucking coach on the side who's like, come on, pass it to the feet. And I like tried to pass the ball. The pitch is fucking waterlogged. And the ball wouldn't go anywhere. So you're always playing high balls. And
Yeah.
mate, you could do some real fucking epic slide tackles and stuff and clobber the
Yeah.
other player. But I only got booked once. I only ever got booked
Yeah.
for like punching this other lad, and I didn't get sent off. Now I'm saying, how fucking old was I? It must have been only about 13 or something. But
Yeah.
it's because, mate, this fucking lanky twat wouldn't stop man marking me at corners.
Yeah.
And he was always like trying to pinch me and stuff. So what I did
Yeah.
is when something really random happened. So imagine you got a bit of a waterlogged pitch, and then the lad
Yeah.
sort of kicked the ball a couple of yards in front of him, was chasing after it, but then the ball slowed down and stopped rolling, and he actually rolled. He actually ran past the ball. The ball stayed stationary, and this is me came charging in, slide tackle from behind, and he
Yeah.
and the ball was like nowhere in question right now, and he turned around, and he's like, "What the fuck you doing?" And my just instant reaction was I hit him, and I could see my dad on the side fucking having a heart attack. He's like, "You come here." And I didn't get fucking red carded or anything. And the coach as
Yeah.
well, fucking Jason Beach, Ford Capri, mate, he was going, I could just see him sort of looking down like, no, this ain't my player. I don't know who this lad is. And we had to pay a £20 fine back in the day. But I
Yeah.
mean, going back to these like prima donnas rolling around on the floor, that just needs to be kicked out of the
Yeah.
match. If you see any twats rolling around acting like tarts, get the fucking yellow card
Yeah.
out and book them.
Right. Exactly. I
So
think that
now,
it did happen a while back where the referees were really like hitting hard on these. They called it simulation, don't they? That's the actual technical term. So they're
that's the one.
simulating an offence. But like, yeah, when you look back at the challenges that we used to do when we were like kids playing football, like Sunday league, Saturday league, whatever it was, you know, I used
Yeah.
to deliberately go out my way to follow through where I'd literally scissor a player.
Sorry, mate.
Do you know what I mean?
If you didn't finish this, sorry, this is
Follow
your
through.
immature cousin. So I would go my way to follow through.
This
Go around
week
the pitch
I have been
smelling of
mostly
shit.
following through.
Oh, fucking brilliant, mate.
But yeah, no, but like
Oh
I would
dear, oh dear.
literally,
But
I, I, I would like go in with my, I'd normally slide in on my left leg, and then as I would hook the ball
yeah,
round, I would then wrap my left leg round the player. You know, like when you look at it now, you're
yeah.
thinking that could have broken his shin. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, totally,
Proper
mate.
dangerous, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you didn't think about it, and like they'd be on the floor like crying and be like, "Get up, you pussy," you know. But like you look back now and
And
it's like
then,
that's highly illegal.
yeah, totally. But back in the day, there was no nonsense, no fucking medical teams. It was bloody Marjorie on the touchline with a bucket of water that was ice cold, and this muddy sponge came running
The
onto the
magic
pitch,
sponge.
trying not to fall over.
Yeah,
Mate, the magic
this,
sponge did the trick.
that's it. Yeah, it
Oh
just numbed the
dear, oh
shit
dear.
out of you, didn't it? Um,
Totally. But going back to
I don't know.
because you were saying,
Yeah,
mate, a second ago that the game was open before Fred got sent
yep,
off. We had
yep,
chances, mate. It could have gone either way. I mean,
yep,
I think I predicted the other day we were going to win 3-1. We should have fucking won
yep,
3-1. I
yep,
mean, bloody Cavani had some chances. Rashford had a
yep,
chance. Bruno had a chance, threw on goal. He should have just done one of his power
yep,
shots. He received the ball. It was face on goal, should have blasted it. because he's got the
Yep.
talent. We've seen him do some Scholesy stuff, but he didn't do it. I
Yep.
don't know why. And I think he's looking burnt
Yep.
out, and it's scaring me, mate. But
Yep.
um,
It's it.
no, you
I
wanted,
agree with you. What?
but Tony, mate. I didn't say Tony's name. I'm going to let you have a
Yeah.
Tony run right now if you want.
Yeah.
Go for it, mate.
Dangerous. Yeah, we are now witnessing a Tony of 2 years ago. He's lethargic. He's lazy. He's just being a twat. And I'm not quite sure exactly what it is.
Sorry, can you
I
just
think
repeat that insult? Repeat the insult, mate. Repeat it one more time.
being a
He is
twat
being a
and a
Oh, mate, there
twat.
is
End
no
of.
one on this planet that can produce that word as good as you, mate. I could
Yes,
just
definitely.
imagine you just going up to him and saying twat.
Yes, exactly. I would
and he'd
happily do that.
receive that.
Now, yeah, get a rocket up his ass. Now, the thing is, right, like, he, I think his nose has been put
Oh,
out of
dear.
joint by the signing of Cavani. And I really do think that's had
That's
an
the
adverse
one.
effect on him. But that is not the
Yeah.
point. You know, he had two, if not three, good chances last night, and he failed to put any of them away. The first one, he leant back and skied it. He
Yep.
was converting a rugby kick. Um,
3
and then
points
the
to
other two
Wigan.
were straight. And the other two were straight to the goalkeeper. You know, and you're not playing
Yeah,
against like a bloody League Two club. You're playing against Navas, who knows his shit. You know, again, another player that I think is a complete
defo.
arsehole, but again, it is what it is. Um,
Totally, mate.
but you
No,
know,
I've
it's
said this
just
before, mate. I rate Tony, but when Stephen
yeah,
Howson a while back said the modern footballer is
yep,
comparable to a tender snowflake, that is Tony
yep,
Marshall, mate. If he hasn't got his love
it is,
tank filled to the brim,
yep,
he ain't going to perform, and he isn't
yep,
performing. You said it, mate. You hit the
no,
nail on the head. Cavani
yep,
came in, and he's been the
yep,
protagonist as a centre forward, and Marshall is seeing
exactly,
himself under more and more pressure to produce the goods. And people
yep,
look at his heat maps and say, even when you're playing as a centre forward, you drift out to the left a lot and occupy that space where
yep,
Rashford was before. All right. The
yep,
partnership was fantastic last season. Goal contributions between them broke the records
yep,
between York and Cole. That was an epic win. But
yep,
for some reason, he cannot sort of just take a deep breath and enjoy his football and do the simple
no,
stuff. Receiving a square
exactly,
pass and put in the net, mate. So
yep,
that's scary.
and
But
that's the problem.
all right.
That's the issue. Now,
The last,
while we're talking, yeah, go on
yeah,
then. The last what?
I was going to say, like, the last major thing I wanted to talk about in the podcast was basically, like at half time, Fred wasn't taken off by Ollie.
Yep, yep,
You've got fan channels that are
yep,
sort of saying Ollie's to blame, this, that, and the other. And I'm going to directly mention who. All right. So, we follow the United People's, the
yep,
United People's TV. So, Sam, who does the presenting on the YouTube channel. So Sam from United People, is literally saying Ollie's at fault. Ollie's at fault for the loss.
yep,
Then you've got
right,
Stephen Howson has
yep,
said that you can't blame Ollie. You cannot blame Ollie. And he has
yep,
given a solid argument. So if anyone wants to, I'm giving them both a big shout out right now. So if anyone wants to listen to both their arguments and make up their mind, they're free to do
yep,
that. And I'm going to favour Howson's words just because Howson is saying that at the end of the day, you've got to look at, Fred and see
yep,
what his contributions are on the pitch. Said at the
yep,
beginning of this episode, mate, that he's the one who
yep,
produces the most tackles. He doesn't stop
yep,
working for the team and he covers so much ground. And he was only on a yellow card and it was the referee's fault
yep,
sending him off. Now,
Yep.
how many managers, you've got to think, in all of, doesn't matter what league it is, how many managers have kept their players on the pitch when they're on the yellow card?
99%
Now,
of them, mate.
let's take, I'm
99%.
going to take, think about this, right? How many times
Yep.
did Scholesy do one of his clumsy tackles on the floor and get a yellow card and then see out the match? How many times did Roy Keane bark at
Yep.
the referee and get a
Yep.
yellow card and see out the match? So many
Yep.
times. I could keep going.
I could name.
Rooney
Yeah.
throwing the ball fucking 45 yards
Yep.
down the pitch. Do you know
Yep.
what I mean?
Rooney. You've got Patrick
So,
Vieira. You've got Alan Shearer. You've got John Terry. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just talking United here. I'm talking like. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, big
It's crazy,
characters.
and
So,
and you wouldn't take those players off. So yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, he was correct in keeping him on. I would have kept him on.
yeah.
Fergie would have kept him on.
But I'm I'm going to say this, right? I've
Yep.
listened today to Rick the Red, who's got his football philosophy channel, and he's he's a veteran fan, okay, who does
Yep.
some fantastic footy analysis and stuff, and he became popular through the United stand, and I'm refusing to listen to Goldbridge because he stresses me out,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I think I prefer listening to him, Rick the Red, and he's done a minute by minute, second by second analysis of every time Fred was involved in a scuffle or committing a foul and stuff.
Yep.
So he did say something like, once the referee kind of feels like he's made a mistake, he's always going to put you at the top of his priority list for giving you a
Yep.
booking, or
Yeah.
another booking, just to kind of redeem himself a bit. So I kind of understand that, but I also honestly understand Howson's argument and a typical
Yep.
Ferguson argument. Like, all right, you've got to put faith in your players. You trust them.
Yep.
They can see out the match. Just try and be sensible.
Yep.
Fred got sent off,
Exactly.
and it was a mistake.
Yep.
Talking about that
And I
specific
think,
yellow card. So
I think like we touched on it on one of the other episodes. I can't remember what episode it was, but saying about the fact that the players weren't committing themselves enough. Because I come out and
yeah,
said I think it's because Ollie wants to keep everybody squeaky clean, and they
okay,
don't want to get booked. And I actually come out and said that,
yeah,
um, which would defend the argument about keeping Fred on the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
totally, mate,
But
totally.
the one thing
But
I want to quickly
listen to
touch on,
this.
because I know go for it.
No. You just touched on that. It was because it's kind of like wrapping things up a little bit.
Okay, well, there's one elephant in the room that we haven't touched upon yet. Because I am slightly bored about it. But
What's that, mate?
I need to talk.
My
I need to
penis? I'm
quickly.
joking.
I need to quickly talk about Big Dave, David De Gea.
Yeah,
He did a couple of good acrobatic saves. However,
yeah.
I blame him for one of the goals, and I can't remember which one it is. Was it Neymar's first goal? He
Might have
basically
been. I
broke,
mean,
or it's either the first goal or PSG's second goal. The ball got taken across the goal, and he knelt down. Oh no, sorry. The first goal was Neymar's goal, where he went
yeah,
down on his right knee and he brought his right
yeah.
shoulder forward, so he was actually facing the goalpost, which gave Neymar the
All
opportunity to
right,
ping the
yeah.
ball behind his back. Right,
So he did that
you
awkward
know,
twist, and he sort of
yep,
jarred his hip a bit or
opened up the
something.
goal. Yeah, and he opened the goal up
Yeah,
rather than facing his body round to make himself bigger, he did the wrong thing again. He faced. He kind
Yeah.
of went to made himself narrow. Why? That was my first
Yeah.
question. Right, second goal, the toe
Spatial
poke.
awareness.
Yeah, is it the toe poke goal? Right. Again, De Gea was
Yeah.
on his line. What were we told as kids? Stay on your feet. Right, regardless of what position you're in,
Yeah.
stay on your feet. What's he going to do? Dive feet first at the ball, and was it Marquinhos who scored the second goal? Wasn't it? Or was it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, yeah. He was already at the ball before De Gea started moving his foot towards the goal. The ball, sorry. If he'd stayed on his feet, he should have done better and tried to save that with his hands. Because he could have dived to his right, but he didn't. He chose to go in
Yeah.
feet first and again narrowed himself rather than making himself bigger.
Well, put it this way,
So
mate. I'm always
that's
going to respect your interpretation from a goalkeeping perspective, just because you've had many more years playing as a goalkeeper. Because to be honest, I played as a goalkeeper once in a five-side football tournament at uni, and I was fucking wank, mate. So it was abysmal.
so
I think
you know,
I conceded about 12 goals in a match or something. Dear, oh dear.
but
Fucking diabolical.
quality. But yeah,
Yes,
it's just
mate.
little things like that, which you know. And again, I would have started with Henderson last night. That Henderson should have
Yeah, me
started.
too.
De Gea picked up an injury at the weekend. All right, it obviously proved that it wasn't as bad as what it looked. Um,
Hadoukened the post.
the
Shout out to our
Hadouken,
Boomhauer fan.
yeah,
I don't know if
definitely.
he's a fan, but he was a very polite listener. Cheers, buddy.
Yeah,
Shout out to
yeah,
you.
without a shadow of a doubt, mate. Yep. Shout out to him. But yeah, I would have started with
Yeah,
Hendo because then, yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to elaborate any more on that because that's just going to frustrate me. But I thought I just needed to
yeah.
bring that to the table just to say that the Hay was at fault as far as I'm concerned. All right, the play leading up to it,
Fair bat, mate.
there was issues. There was issues with the play leading up to it, but in regards to being a
Yeah,
goalkeeper, he was doing rookie errors last night.
yeah. Fair bat, mate. All right, listen to this, because we're like
Yep.
fucking coming up the old
Yeah.
50-minute mark in a minute.
Yep.
Quick question. Do you think we're going to get that 1 point we need at Leipzig next week? Yes or no?
No, we're not. We're going to lose.
Okay, I'm going to say this. We're going to lose, but Paris are going to lose against Bashaka Hislop, whatever they're called. Istanbul, Bashashak. And we're going to go through on goal difference.
Well, the stranger things have happened, isn't it? So, so
Yeah, totally, mate.
that would be brilliant. That would because our Başakşehir at home against PSG.
I think so. But
So
mate, last question: Are we going to beat? Are we going to beat fucking Yellow Teeth on Saturday?
well, I hope so.
Sorry, David Moyes. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, I do talk too much shit. But can we beat West Ham?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Press
so. I
one
can't see
for
why not.
yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Score
or
prediction.
sorry,
Give it to
your
me, mate.
fingers are too fat and merged all the buttons together. But I think I think we need. Oh, yeah, I know West Ham are sitting fifth at the moment, but come on, it's West Ham. You know, they always end up fucking up
Yeah, I
somewhere down
know.
the line, and I think that
Yeah,
against us will be the downfall of it, if I'm honest. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'd like to see us get a result. I know the Olympic Stadium's a bit of a shitty ground to go to, but I can't see why not.
it is, mate. Okay, score prediction. What did you say? Give me some numbers.
3-1 United.
I'm going to go. Oh, fucking hell. 1-0. 1-0, mate. Bruno penalty.
Okay.
There we go. What are your closing words, mate?
Over and out from me, mate.
Over and out from me. Freddie got fingered. See you later, chronic masturbators.